Alright, yeah, so we just... wait, that's right, we didn't go to bed yet. We just got back from our latest night down in the tunnels, so... Okay, we'll go to bed for now. Oh, I gotta check the combat settings before we go too far in the main game. That day, like so many since the festival, my body had felt heavy. As if I were carrying with me a pallet of bricks. Wrong pallet. I was like, I know that's not the right one. That's the, that's color palette. Be Pallet. There you go. Spell check right out the gate here. Or perhaps pulling along a vegetable cart. I felt something resting on my shoulders. And that's also opposed to Palate, which is the part of your mouth. Or a flavor palette. That it's come to something like this. We now gathered in the courtyard, dressed by the high wound bearers. The speaker shook his head, unsure what he could possibly say that would assuage us. Okay. Is a great shame. Just when the Ashan announced the food shortage to the settlement, I knew already what was coming next. My father had told me outright. I mean, this is more of an explanation of the guard job. We've basically been security for the bread lines. 'Cause famine. If for some reason you didn't watch the previous episode. But I put the pieces together on my own. Other wound bearers seemed to brace themselves, waiting for the heavy news to shackle their clear conscience like chains. Actually, I think that should be conscience. S-C-I-E-N-C. Alright. Or is it S-E at the end of conscience? Either way. But I was already carrying a weight so great that it bent me double and shortened my breath. I just wanted to get it over with. Each obligation has been assigned a specific reduced ration for the foreseeable future. Okay, so this is the overall rationing. That is all any member of that obligation may eat in a day. Speaker paused, seeming almost reluctant to continue his explanation. Those of you who are otherwise available during the midday will be assigned to oversee each obligation's ration line. If any person attempts to take more than they are allowed, or steal from another's portion, he took a long breath. You will deter them with any necessary force. There was a low murmur as the implications of this order washed over the many wound bearers in the courtyard. I watched so many eyes dart to the weapons they were carrying. This order has come from the Ashan and would be in effect until the famine is considered to no longer present the island any danger. That is all. Tala was somewhere in that crowd, surely thinking about how and when he might be forced to turn his weapon against a hungry apprentice. You think they could at least get them blunt weapons? But there was another set of eyes I was hoping to find. Finally, I saw my father in the crowd, looking grimly at the floor. I wanted him to look and see how the news didn't shake me. See that I wasn't that same coward who sat in the grass and watched as others died. He was ignoring me, of course. But it didn't matter. As everyone considered the instrument of killing they held at their side with newfound fear, I looked at my own and saw for the tool it was. I feel like your mindset isn't the most healthy, my dude. The tool that would give me the power to destroy the many obstacles in my path. The tool that would save us from this hunger. This perfect island of ours. I'm not so naive and, now not to not see how fragile the lives we lead truly are. Oh, he's getting shit in his head, too. This crushing weight. This thing that I feel wrapping its hands around my neck and trying to suffocate me. This weight is proof that... So hopefully the update fixed weapon switching. Tala and I walked side by side on the street. The midday meal was quickly approaching, and lines had already begun to form outside the many workshops of the settlement. The people, forming queues even before the food had been brought, held their heads low. They seemed tired. Thin, I thought. Wound bearers like ourselves stood waiting by the lines to begin their grim work for another day, keeping deliberate distance between themselves and the people they would shortly police. Tala and myself quickly approached the kiln, where we would wait to do the same. I saw him watch the hungry people as we passed, turning his head rapidly, seemingly distressed. God above. Things have gotten so much worse, he said solemnly. I gave him a long look. Even compared to last week. This is... He gestured to the lines of people in the street. This is horrible. I simply looked ahead. I said this would happen, Tala. You didn't listen to me. Not the time for I told you so's, buddy. I was walking up and down the line when I heard raised voices. It was unusual to hear low chatter from the line as they waited for their ration. One of the voices I recognized immediately. I turned and spotted Kanari somewhere towards the middle of the line. Prava stood just behind him, looking over his shoulder with a somewhat nervous expression. Who was he talking to? I approached curiously, so finally noticing the apprentice pottery I was engaged with. The apprentice made an inarticulate gesture towards Kanari, saying something I couldn't quite make out. I came within earshot to hear the end of Kanari's reply. What is this, General Ed? Kanari chuckled. You walked off. I didn't cut you. Or is this the apprentice talking? I'm sorry. The apprentice shook his head, his irritation evident. Like hell you didn't, he spat. That was my spot. I stepped out of line to get my bowl for a fucking minute. You weren't here at all. I saw you walk up and join your little girlfriend in line. Despite the anger in his voice, Kanari seemed amused. Oh? What will you ever do? He said with biting sarcasm. You'll get your food a full 30 seconds later than you would have. Are you sure you won't starve to death? The apprentice took a step forward, his fists clenched. Kanari. Prava chimed in, putting her head on Kanari's arm. Her hand on Kanari's arm. Please, just apologize and we'll move back. She began to push past Kanari, seemingly trying to put herself in between the two. Kanari pushed her back with his free arm, keeping her behind himself. Fuck you, the apprentice spat, now closer than before. I know everything we do at the kiln is all a big fucking joke to you. But believe it or not, whether or not I go hungry for the day is pretty darn important to me. You take something seriously for once in your life. And get out of my fucking way. Kanari seemed somewhat shaken, but the smirk never left his face. I picked up my pace, trying to get closer. After a long moment, Kanari spoke up again. You know, it might be good for you to skip a few meals. Have you looked at your reflection recently? Oof. It all happened in an instant. The apprentice raised his fist and struck Kanari in the cheek, sending him to the ground. Kanari's cane struck the brick pavement with a ringing hollow sound and flew several feet, landing in a patch of grass. Kanari cried out, landing on his back. Prava yelled out as well, immediately falling to her knees at his side. Instinct took over, and I sprinted towards the apprentice. Tala beat me there, the tip of his spear pressing threateningly into the apprentice's stomach. That's a little excessive immediate force, bro. Out of the line now, he said. Tala's tone was calm, but his gaze was ferocious. You've lost your ration for the day. The apprentice cursed and spat, storming off. This is fucking favoritism. Does anyone else see this? That cripple is their friend. The system's fucking corrupt all the way to the top. Everyone in the street stopped and stared at the commotion. And there I stood at the very center, my weapon raised. I looked at Kanari, feeling around for his cane and unable to stand. Prava called my name, gesturing me over to help. I went. I feel like if they've already measured out the rations, they could just have his and maybe give a portion to Kanari and not like completely screw him, but whatever. The sun had already begun to dip in the sky and it cast long shadows across the storage room floor. Oh. Kanari winced as Prava rubbed the compress against the dark bruise on his cheek. I'm sorry, she said softly. Does that hurt? Kanari gave a faint smile. As a guy, I'm obligated to say no. Toxic masculinity. But yeah, it hurts like hell. At least he's honest. I smiled, glad to see that he was in good spirits. Prava seemed like she wanted to say something, but didn't. Kanari continued. What a prick. Hitting a cripple? It's bad luck. I think I read that somewhere. I'm sorry. What for? And also, since that's self-reference, and the other guy was using it as a slur, like, that's character. I'm not like, advocating the use of that term by any means. I should have been there quicker. Could have broken it up. I can't say I'm not flattered that you two care so much for my well-being. But let's not be overly dramatic here. Just a punch. I'll live. It's not like you broke my other leg. Then I'd really be in trouble. Con, listen. You got really lucky this time. You got really lucky this is all you walked away with. Things could have been so much worse. Yeah, maybe for him. It looked like I was knocked on my ass. But let me tell you, I was preparing one hell of a counterattack. Kanari, I'm being serious. You were goading him on, saying all that stuff. Well, yeah. He was being an ass, so I know what he was doing. What I'm saying is that you can't just... Can't what? You can't just say whatever you want. Yes, you can. Especially right now. The guy did have a point to, like, you know... See it from my point of view, I would kind of prefer not to go hungry, like... Still, he was being an asshole about it. How things are going. Everyone is... They're on edge. They're not thinking straight. They're hungry. Yeah, I'm hungry too. Kanari. Sometimes you just... You say things without thinking and... Look what happens. So what? You wanted me to just roll over and let that guy walk all over me? I would have done something about it. I don't need you to protect me, Prava. I'm fine. Don't step in like that again. All these guys are dicks. Okay. I'm sorry. I mean, I would say, like, a lot of respects, the gender binary's kind of been knocked down a few pegs in this, because you've got guys working on ceramics and weaving and everything, just like the women. Which, you know, like, modern times, they would, like, probably assign those as more women's work or whatever, but at the same time, there does seem to be a bit of a machismo problem. And there's the whole, like, sacred maidens versus a lot of guys in the cops. Wound bearers, whatever. So. Need some work. I walked briskly down the street, trying to put some distance between myself and the kiln. I left in a hurry after we'd treated Kanari's injury. He didn't seem like he was in the mood to talk to me after what he'd said to Prava. I was wondering where Tala had gone when I heard a voice call my name and the sound of footsteps rapidly approaching. I turned to see Prava run up to me, pulling on my menage to get me to stop. Aram, wait, she said, out of breath. She looked anxious. Prava? I said, surprised. Is something wrong? Prava looked over her shoulder as if waiting to see if anybody else would come out of the kiln. Seeming satisfied, she looked back at me, letting go of my menage. I noticed she held her notebook in her offhand, fidgeting with it mindlessly. Aram, this can't go on, she began. Look what happened today. Kanari's behavior. It's putting him in danger. Her expression grew weary. You wouldn't know this, but a lot of the older guys at the kiln, they don't like Kanari very much. I shifted uneasily. You know how it is. He's got a big personality. He's always stirring things up. But right now, with how things are, I'm afraid, Aram, that something like today will happen again. But this time he won't just walk away with a bruise. I knew where the conversation was headed. I knew what Prava wanted from me. Please, you need to help me talk some sense into Kanari. It comes from you, too. You might actually listen. I know how Kanari is. He doesn't need a lecture. It won't work. Putting myself in the middle of these two is the last thing I need right now. Bro, you gotta check in with your lads. I tried to think of what I could say to my pacifier. I smiled, recalling my usual response. Sure, Prava. You're right. I'll talk to him. Don't worry. Prava gave me a long look, and her eyes narrowed. You won't say anything, will you? You never do. Caught the fuck out. Alright. She'd seen right through me. Immediately, I felt ashamed having been so insincere to her face. No, it's not like that. I began. I scrambled to think of something to say. The truth, then. I just don't think he needs... Prava took a step closer, her expression twisting in anger. I can't believe you, Aram. When your best friend is in danger, you really won't lift a finger to do anything about it? I took a step back. Hey, you're making a bigger deal out of this than it is, Prava, I said, somewhat defensive. Kanari's been in worse fights than this. Talking to him about it won't... Prava cut me off, venom in her voice. God's light. You're a bad friend, do you know that? Not just a Kanari. Don't think I don't know you've been lying to me for years. All those times I've come to you, sick with worry over him. You never do a thing and lie to my face about it. I appreciate the main character getting called out for this shit, so... I was stunned into silence by her tirade. Shocked and unsure what I could possibly say in response. A long moment passed in silence as Prava glared at me. Nothing to say? She spat. Fine then. Since we're worth so little of your time, I'll do it myself. With that, she turned away from me in an instant and marched back into the kiln. Her sudden anger had caught me completely off guard. I hadn't seen that side of her in a long time. I feel like yelling at his dad... I mean, to be fair, it seems to be years of bottled up issues, so he was kind of justified, but not talking it out. Like, I feel like this chapter is going to be a lot of reckoning with his shortcomings. Alright. Stood for a moment, wondering if I should go after her. But what would I say? I really made a mess of things. Alright, we're gonna do quest check. Oh yeah, check settings. I want controls list on, story mode on. And then ideally, you should be able to save. I don't know if the update was actually pushed yet, so I could be wrong about it. We could also do that while we're running. Okay. Well, yeah, we'll stop in everywhere. At some point I gotta come back with like a stash of cash and just buy out all the items. Quest there. Or barter out all the items. Okay, maybe we shouldn't go in the kiln. And by shouldn't, I mean can't. Here for barter? Yep, okay. Alright, so my man's got bricks. What do you want? What are you doing here? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your work. I'll leave. No. Stay and talk. Or that work. Okay, this is the same combo we had before. Alright, so I guess unless people have quest markers or barter markers, I don't really need to talk to them currently. That's fair. That's home. I'm gonna save real quick. Just so we don't have to repeat the conversation. Nothing going on in the alley. Okay, Reduce the cost of rolling outside of combat. Okay. So, basically a speed maneuver there. Cool. Alright, you're bought out. Okay, there's the skip. Okay, yeah, we had this combo before too. Okay, I got 8 pure metal on me. Good. Petrified bones. All. That's not an accessory. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. That's a bit for wound kit improvement. Okay, we need 2 perfect metal for that. If I go by 3 bricks, I can pick this. Oh no, I had a mark of honor. Okay. Portion of limit. Oh, keep your stuff when you get killed. Alright, I might need that later. I do like big money. I don't have any burn cream though. We do have a lot of powder. Oh, that's for more ceramic shards. Actually. Oh, wait, but we can't go to the kiln to trade them with our boy right now anyway. Okay. That's good to know. Like, I have a bunch of the powders, so if I need more shards to get... He's only got 1 or 2 more things on him, I think. Maybe 3. Balloon barrier. Okay, whatever. I had that combo before. Okay. All these are thread. Oh, the ones were how many they had in stock. Okay. 3, 6, 9, 15. I can only buy 6, but that's 2 items, so... And we have 1 in stock. Okay. Okay. Alright, so what does it do? Vitality, resistance... Slightly increases memory iron. Okay. Oh, but then I don't have cash for anything else. Oh, well, we have thread for later then. That's fine. Alright. Didn't mean to speak, but whatever. Not fun. Combo skip. Alright, and then 4 more die and we get everything here. Oh wait, I forgot to check in the back. The die maker's back there usually. Okay, yeah, that's the same combo from earlier, too. See if our mother has anything new to say. Or was she the last one on this floor?
Aram, I need to speak to you.
Okay, Mom. What is it?
I heard about the conversation you had with your father.
Oh, we had this combo before, too. Okay. Alright, what do we got? Fracture plus 25? No, give me this. Alright, cool. Alright, nothing else crying out to me there either. Okay. But yeah, better payout plus better drops. Item drops will give me more to trade. Got enough and not enough cash. Turn time. Ooh. Ooh. Some more time to just whoop ass. Okay. But I think it's more time to make choices. Okay, this is where we upgrade the thing, but I think it said we didn't have enough gubbins for an upgrade. We just got bandages and powders. That's fine. Okay, it only takes one more petrified bone for the next upgrade. Which again we can just buy for. We can. Maybe I might just buy out the petrified bone after this next run. Ideally, I want to see how much metals cost. Arc of Honor, okay. It's 200 for one, okay. These don't have much in the way of, well, maybe better defense, but if anything, I'll probably end up buying those for completion. I should be making notes as to how many of each item I need, but whatever. Cutscene? There we go. Tala broke the silence first. We'd been sitting for almost half an hour before anything was said. Just realized there was one thing I didn't kill before the stream. I'll do that after this. I'd simply been looking at my feet, lost in thought. Hey. Okay, this is Tala speaking. That friend of yours, Canary. I looked up at him. His leg. What happened to it? Oh, we got a tease of it before. It was an injury that we were there for. Was he born that way? The image of Canary sprawled out on the brick road, his cane lying out of reach as he flailed about, unable to stand. It was seared under my eyes, filling me with shame. Why wasn't I there faster? No, I said finally. I decided I wasn't in the mood for a conversation. I don't want to talk about it. Tal looked at me curiously, but finally shrugged and leaned back against the wall. It was kind of implied that it was play combat, and Canary fell or something. Something went very wrong. Okay, so at least it dumped me back where the pile was, too. Tried to clear my head, to push out the thoughts of Canary. The shame I felt. The thought of the vast new space I'd discovered below the floor. Find an elevator. That's it. Focus. Okay. Checking story mode still on. Alright. Oh, what? Oh, I forgot to kill whatever I was going to kill. Process-wise. After crossing the small bridge, I stopped just short of the doorway to the next structure. Just to its left, a small post rose from the ground. It was decorated with strange symbols. A sign, maybe? There were 2 lines of text. Stratum 1345. Permitted gene purity? Great! Eugenics. Over 94.6%. I don't have a single idea what that might mean. Okay, just a second. Free up a little more resources there. Okay, and we're good. Send me back in. At the far end of the room was a strange, hanging figure. I approached it carefully. It was unmoving, but I already knew not to trust that alone. As I finally came close enough to see it more clearly, I realized that it was indeed an ancestor. There's also that one upstairs we still need to trade for stuff with, I think. What I assumed to be its head was fixated on me. It followed my motions as I came near, rotating slightly so that it was always facing me. It was limp and seemed almost to be hanging from the ceiling, hanging in front of a great sealed doorway. I stopped what I considered to be a safe distance away and observed. It doesn't seem to have any weapons. No arms or teeth. I took a careful step forward, and immediately it spoke. This stratum has no record of your biometric identity. Present your gene identity card immediately. Its voice echoed through the empty hall. It was both colder and more archaic than the scouts. Another one that could speak? If it's harmless like that scout was, I might get more information. I don't think it's going to be harmless. You can speak then, Ancestor? Are you a soldier type? I am not. I represent the terminal authority for this stratum. Present me with your gene identity card. I would ask this question 2 more times before I consider you uncooperative. Identity card? I don't have anything like that. I'm looking for humans. Humans that used to live here. Where did they go? Which type of human are you referring to? Present me with your gene identity card. I would ask this question 1 more time before I consider you uncooperative. I already told you, Ancestor. I don't have what you're looking for, okay? Just never mind about the humans. An elevator. Do you know where the nearest one is? There is a single elevator located several dozen strata below this one. Present me with your gene identity card. Stop asking that. I can't help you, whatever it is you want. It's below here? Fine. Let me by and I'll be on my way. You are uncooperative. I will be taking your biometric data immediately. Suddenly there was a blinding flash of light, and I covered my eyes instinctively. When I opened them again, I saw the ancestor was much closer than before. It extended its body so its head was several inches from my own. I quickly stepped backwards, immediately on edge. The purity of your archimanic genes are under 3%, it said, coldly. You are not qualified for access to even the lowest strata. Furthermore, you are not considered human under the law of partition. I felt my heart begin to race. What are you saying? I said, my instincts telling me that I was in danger. There was a faint sound then. It sounded like metal scraping against stone. I heard it echo all around me as I reached for my weapon. The minimum acceptable gene purity of this stratum is over 94.6%, it continued, inching ever closer. It took another slow step backwards. You have committed the crime of trespassing above your permitted living area. Out of the corner of my eyes, I noticed motion. Turned my gaze to the side and saw long metal fingers wrapping around a nearby windowsill. Spun my head around and saw the same from the doorway at my back. Lithe metal limbs twisted through, wrapping around it from outside the structure and scraping long indents into the stone walls with their blade-tipped fingers. My heart dropped and my stomach twisted as it dawned on me. I was completely surrounded. Your sentence in accordance with the law of partition is execution without trial. The words barely registered. I looked side to side rapidly, watching ancestors crawl in from all openings of the room. They carried weapons of various kinds, cables attached to the back of their heads that seemed to stretch out of sight. I swallowed hard. My hands were shaking. 3 ancestors, nearly double my standing height, now stood in the room surrounding me. The way I'd come was blocked. I have no choice. It's fight or die. Okay, well... Switching weapons doesn't seem to be doing anything, so... The L and R. What? I guess I didn't pick a direction. Oh, shit. God damn it, it was too slow. I was just about to hit A, too. Oh, shit. Missed that. Alright, attack him. I'm trying to stay in the middle of the area. I can't change targets while I'm defending, apparently. The electrified one seems a little more cowardly. I also noticed they're all hooked up to wires. Interesting. That's the beatdowns. Honestly, I'm kind of glad we had some time to grind the past couple sessions because I kept getting lost. We'll try and finish this guy off. Hell yeah. I'm trying to keep these two separate enough that he can, like... It's less likely they'll double dip on me, because the one guy's got the reach with the halberd. Late reaction there. We still got a couple hits to follow up. Hell yeah. Thanks for knocking me back, actually. Appreciate having the space. You electrify trains, why not electrify your security forces? Well, so he's going to get less hits in because he's got a slower weapon, so that's good. Yeah, depending on how nasty the enemies after this are, I'm probably going to level up to 30. God damn it, it's like a hair too late. I'll probably level up to 30 and then just hold on to the memory iron we get for a while. That way, next time we go back to town, shopping spree. And upgrade spree. Hopefully, I don't think the boss ones respawn after if you save. So, there's an early boss we didn't deal with, or we dealt with and didn't have to deal with again. I mean, all right. Seconds after the final ancestor went down, the echo of scraping mechanical hands and feet returned. I took rapid, shallow breaths, the adrenaline of the fight still coursing through me. Tearing my eyes to the nearby window, I saw the distant shape of dozens of ancestors crawling along the outside of the buildings, rapidly approaching. Do not leave this room. You are to remain until your sentence is fulfilled. I heard the voice of the terminal authority behind me. Realizing this might be my only chance to run, I sprinted for the now clear doorway. Hell yeah. I made it to the small exterior walkway between the two buildings in the direction I'd come. My heart was beating out of my chest. But just as I began my dash across the short bridge, the sound of metal scraping against stone echoed above me. I whipped my head around and saw an ancestor perched atop the roof of the building just above the doorway, waiting in ambush. Comprehending the incoming attack much too late, I tried in desperation to turn around fully and raise my shield. There was a rush of air, and my entire body erupted in pain. Oof. An ancestor had thrown itself from the roof directly at me, claws outstretched. Are they all cabled up? Its center of mass had narrowly missed my body as I turned to avoid it, which was the only thing that kept me from plummeting to my death off the side of the bridge. Its blade-tipped fingers, however, had torn through my clothing, leaving deep gashes along my chest. My menache was ripped clean through, nearly coming apart. That's going to be harder to hide when we get to the surface. I came to my knees hard, an arc of crimson blood sprang from my torso and staining the ground. The ancestor fell rapidly, its torso shattering to pieces, as it collided with the staircase at dozens of feet below. I cried out. The pain was so great that I could barely keep my eyes open. But a voice in my head was screaming at me, my own voice. I need to keep running. There are dozens more like the three I barely managed to destroy seconds behind me. I need to run. Just run. Run! Now! In a daze, I managed to stand, holding one arm to the wounds on my chest, blood seeping from between my fingers and onto the ground. I felt dizzy. With every ounce of strength I had, I continued my labored sprint back to the way I'd come. I ran and climbed. All the while, I bled. The sound of mechanical footsteps seems to always be around the corner. I was certain that if I stopped running for even a second, they would catch me and carry out my sentence. So I kept running. And running. Until, at some point, I realized I'd made it back to the surface passageway. I listened, and the sound of my pursuers had faded. I prayed desperately that I had lost them. Alright, maybe we don't even have a chance to level up. I should probably just do shopping spree, especially for the bones for the meds upgrade. I struggled to the top of the staircase where Tala sat waiting and collapsed to my knees. Tala, I choked out. My head raced trying to think of what I could possibly say that would explain my current state. I clutched, because we've been saying there's been nothing down there. I clutched my chest tightly, blood still dripping from between my fingers. There's nothing. This isn't like that night before the festival. I can't walk this off. I'm gonna die if I don't do anything about it right now. Tala got to his feet, his eyes widening in shock. Adam, he exclaimed, coming quickly to me. What in God's name? With my free hand, I reached into my bag and pulled out my wound kit, throwing it to the ground in front of me. It's not good, Tala, I managed, my voice coming out choked. You have to help me. I've lost a lot of blood, but if you help me. Without another word, he scrambled to pick up my wound kit, reaching for his own as well. He dug through them both, pulling out the supply of gauze we carried. Aram, you need to show me the wound. Aram, you need to show me the wound, he said, his voice grim. I lifted my arm and showed him the terrible state of my chest. Long, deep cuts ran across my pectorals from under my collarbone to just below my ribs. My shirt was torn to shreds. Tala went pale and began unwrapping the gauze. Aram, he said, fear in his voice. This won't be enough. Our field wound kits aren't meant for injuries like this. You need stitches and medicine. You need the hospice. He began wrapping the gauze around my chest. I cried out in pain. His words began to dawn on me. If I go to the hospice, it's over. I'll be exposed. Tala could corroborate whatever lie I could come up with. But they'd ask the other sentries too. Fuck. Not like this. Not yet. No, I managed, trying to hide the panic in my voice. I can't. They'll find out. They'll find out, Tala. Just then another sickening thought occurred to me. My menage. It's in tatters. I managed to shrug it off my shoulders. My menage. It's ruined. They'll see it, Tala. I began hyperventilating. Just then, Tala finished another layer of gauze, which was already soaked through. Aram, he said carefully. You don't get real medical attention soon. You're gonna die. Maybe it's time you finally come clean. He put both his hands on my shoulders. Aram, this has gone on long enough, hasn't it? Please, you'll die. The little strength I had, I shoved him off. I do like the handprints on the wall there. He was probably supporting himself all the way up. Keep your voice down. They'll hear us. How could you even suggest that? If I'm caught, all this was for nothing. Aram, look at yourself. There's just no way we can handle this alone. You have to go to the hospice. Shut up. It hasn't come to that. I'm pretty sure it's come to that. The pain, exhaustion, panic were taking hold of me. I've been through all of this. And he wants me to give it all up now? I felt my blood boil. Not much left to boil if you keep this up. You won't get a foot outside the door before the other sentries see your clothes. Tala! Switch menages with me. What? I'll wear yours. That'll never work. I will explain the torn, bloody menage I'd be wearing. Make a new one. Archimancy. I'm not good enough. You have to do it, please. I'm not much better, Aram. An entire menage? How do they even come close? You can't be. Fix mine then. Make a needle and thread. I don't care what you do. Just fucking help me. Slap him. Fucking slap him. Slap Aram, I mean. I shoved my torn, bloody menage into Tala's arms. He stared at it blankly as I came to my feet, shaking. Please, I begged, my voice no more than a whimper. After a long moment, finally Tala nodded. He shrugged off his own menage and handed it to me. I did my best not to scream as I slowly put it around my shoulders, the motion sending waves of pain across my body. I'll try, Aram, he said, weakly. I'll try. And with that, I stumbled out into the night, leaving the two sentries in the garden behind without a single word. I heard them call out to me in confusion as I left as quickly as I could manage, but I ignored them. Instead, with every ounce of strength I had left, I went into the settlement and tried to think of a plan. Bruh. Think, Aram. Where can I get the things I need? I tried my best to focus on just that. Not if I could even use my limited medical training to make use of whatever I managed to find. No, not find. Steal. I'll have to. As I walked briskly down the darkened streets, I realized how many more peacekeepers were on patrol than usual. It's the famine. They're looking for anyone trying to steal food in the dead of night. Fuck. I quickly came into sight of the hospice itself. There were wound bearers outside the doorway. The hopelessness of the situation began to dawn on me. There's no way. There's no way I could break in. Steal the things I need? Not in my condition. I moved on quickly, hiding the shadow of the buildings. Maybe hiding in the shadow of the buildings. Whenever a peacekeeper drew near. The hospice will be the most heavily guarded. Maybe one of the other workshops. They must keep some medicine on hand. They have to. I picked up my pace, getting closer to the settlement's edge. A workshop would come into sight, and quickly I'd notice guards, one after the next. All of them were guarded. Please, not like this. Soon I was running with all I could muster. Oh, God above. The empty fields of the plantation quickly approached. There has to be one, please. But before I even realized, I had left the settlement behind. Well, time to die in the woods. Do we have woods? I realized that my pace had slowed to a walk. In my mind, I was running, but a walk was all my body could manage. So I walked along the dirt path, quietly sobbing. This is really it, isn't it? Nowhere left to turn. Nothing I can do. A structure came into sight. It was a small shed, one used by the plantation to store tools. I stared at it. I couldn't accomplish anything. I'm worthless. Completely worthless. Tears rolled off my chin and fell into the dirt, mixing with the blood. Suddenly, I was very tired. The only thing on my mind was finding somewhere to lie down. This shed. I'll go inside and lie down. Close my eyes and... I reached for the curtain, drawing it aside. Arrow? Wait a minute. My entire body froze. Slowly I turned around, and the sight of the person behind me made my blood go cold. Oh, she probably followed me out of the town. Standing there was Prava.
What are you?
She began, but slowly her eyes grew wide in shock as she saw me. Talisman Ash was doing, little to obscure my torn and bloody clothing with my arm lifted. Quickly I tried to drop it and obscure my body. But Prava took a step forward and caught my arm.
Oh my God,
she said, going pale.
What happened to you?
The exhaustion came in a sudden wave, and I felt light on my feet. Bonk. I fell to my side and into the shed, landing hard on a pile of baskets. I cried out in pain. Prava rushed inside after me, gasping in horror as she saw the state I was in.
Aram,
she screamed.
What happened?
It's over. It was nothing, I sputtered out. Even hearing the words from my own mouth, I was ashamed. The lengths I'm going to keep this secret. It's gonna kill me.
Aram,
Prava's voice was severe.
Tell me what happened to you right now.
I shook my head weakly.
Nothing.
Nothing, I managed. Prava stood deathly still, staring me down.
You don't tell me what happened. I'm going to bring Kanari here right now. I'll bring Sachita too.
I swallowed hard. Perhaps if it had been any other threat, but not that. Somehow she knew the only thing that would force my hand in this situation. Sachita can't know. I have to say it. Suddenly, I was talking. And suddenly, it's time for an ad break. I apologize, but... Okay. Let's get chatty. I looked up, and the prior session ran about 2 hours, so we'll at least try to shoot for that. I don't remember what I'd planned to tell her. But as soon as I began, couldn't stop. Everything. That day I seen Rayash and Kion die. I'd gone after Tala into the well, and hadn't stopped going back. Night after night. I'd wandered aimlessly. That I can attest to. Tearing through ancestors, and how I'd found myself in a terrible situation. One that nearly cost me my life on the spot. The fact that the menache I was wearing wasn't my own. And how I'd arrived in my present condition. Bleeding out in a shed, alone. After I'd stopped, Prava went quiet for a long time. Prava, I said eventually. Please. You have to help me. And suddenly, Prava sprung into action. Quickly helping me take off Tala's menage, she examined the state of my gauze and shook her head. There was a soft glow of indigo light, and after a moment, she was holding fresh new bandages in her hands. Putting them aside, Prava turned and quickly ran off, leaving me alone in the shed. She returned several minutes later, carrying a bundle of medical supplies under her menage. But where did you... I began to choke out before she cut me off. The kiln, she said quietly. I told the peacekeepers I'd left my mother's precious necklace inside. I lied. We keep a small supply of medicine on hand for accidents. It's nothing like what they have at the hospice, but... Prava began to undress my wound, and I had to struggle not to cry out. Motion brought tears to my eyes. She uncapped a small ceramic jar and held it over me. This is going to hurt. Quickly upturning the jar, she poured what I assumed to be an antiseptic all across my chest. Fuck! Like, for gashes that big, that's gonna sting like a motherfucker. I screamed and felt my body convulse involuntarily. Prava put her hands on me firmly to keep me still. She brought out another small jar, which she motioned for me to drink. For the pain. I gulped it down and almost immediately began to feel my senses dull. Still, the pain was nearly unbearable. I found myself mesmerized as Prava carefully and deliberately treated my injury. She pulled a needle and thread from her bundle, went to work stitching my wound. I watched her hands closely, so delicately weaving the needle in and out of my skin as if it were effortless. I appreciate that they made it as, like... I'm trying to figure out how much is wound and how much is... flesh. I think that's, like, torn menage or whatever over the wound that she's working through, so... They kept the gore fairly subtle, so I couldn't help but stare at her offhand, which she made so much use of, or such use of, even despite missing 2 of her fingers. My head felt fuzzy. How do you know how to do this? Prava shook her head, continuing the pace of her work without missing a beat. Aram, she said, you didn't forget, did you? My obligation was medicine. Before, anyway. Oh, something happened with the fingers. And there goes my connection. Okay, that was a shorter burst than I thought it was. Let's keep going. Sorry about that connection burp. With my wound clean, stitched and rebandaged, I finally felt my adrenaline begin to subside. I was breathing easier, sitting upright against the wall. Prava came to her feet, cleaning her hands, and looked down at me. Before the connection took a shit, I was trying to say that I appreciate that we're like learning little additional bits about the characters honestly each day of the game, not even just each chapter. Prava came to her feet, cleaning her hands, and looked down at me. Because the first chapter had that tease about what happened to it was like a dream or memory of what happened to Kanari. They still haven't really elaborated entirely why Sachi is scratched or scarred like that, but anyway. The silence was deafening. I told her everything. What happens now? Help me understand, she said, finally. Every night for weeks, you've been using your post as sentry? As cover so that you can sneak into the well. I nodded, slowly. Why? Her voice was eerily calm. I remember trying to explain it to Tala. What will it matter if I tell her my reasons? She won't believe me. There were people, I began, carefully. Humans lived in the well, maybe a long time ago. There was a famine, just like ours. Thousands died. Prava narrowed her eyes. I kept talking. But at some point, they left. They went somewhere better. Somewhere without hunger. Without ancestors. They're fucking dead, dude. I sat up straight and looked at her with conviction. Better world, Prava. I gestured with my hands inarticulately, but the pain in my chest caused me to immediately regret it. I've been following their trail, trying to find it, to end this famine. I trailed off. Prava simply stared at me. Then, after a moment, she spoke.
So then, you've really seen it? Been inside that place? With all those buildings? And empty rooms? Going on and on for as far as you can see?
What? Time seemed to slow down. I felt a chill go over my entire body. Wait. What? Why would she... How could she know? Brava, I spluttered out, trying to keep my voice calm. I didn't say anything about what it looked like. How do you know that? Brava froze. Her eyes darted around.
It's just rumors, Aram, she said. I hear a lot of them.
Can that really be it? Just rumors? How would anyone know what the well looks like? Brava considered me for a moment. Suddenly, her calm demeanor seemed to break. It looked like something occurred to her.
Aram,
She said, her voice severe.
you've broken the island's law. What will they do to you if they find out?
I grimaced and shook my head. She's part of this now. Will she want me to turn myself in? I need to get out ahead of it.
I've already given you my reasons, Brava. I'm doing this for everyone. I'm not putting anyone else in danger. It's just me. So,
I swallowed hard.
please, Brava. You can't tell anyone. Not Kanari, not Sachita. I didn't want you or anyone else to know.
I stopped and let my words hang. After an agonizingly long moment, Brava tilted her head and broke the silence.
Okay,
She said, a sudden calm overtaking her tone.
I'll keep your secret, Aram.
Immediately, I felt relief wash over me. Really? That was all it took? Maybe trust your friends, dingus! After being certain that I'd worked so hard for everything... After being certain that everything I'd worked so hard for had fallen apart completely. The hope that I would be able to proceed with my mission was returning to me. But, she continued,
it won't be free.
What? Brava? I said timidly. I realized then how little of her I could actually see. She was a silhouette, the light of the stars casting her face in shadow. I heard only her voice. It was a voice I'd never heard her use before.
Maybe this is selfish. But I suppose I honestly don't care what it is you've been doing down there. I don't care who you're doing it for or why. I care about one thing, Aram. One person. Him. Kanari.
I mean, if this is what it takes to get you to talk to your other fucking friend.
I love him, Aram. I love him so much that I would die for him.
No shit.
So, we'll make a deal. I'll keep your secret. I'll even continue to treat your wound. And I won't say anything about what happened tonight either. But in exchange, when I ask you to do something for me, you listen to me.
Oh, I like the...
When I ask you to talk to Kanari, you do exactly as I say. And you don't ask questions.
This is a pretty cheap bargain, honestly. I would take it. We're not checking behind door number 3. I was almost too stunned to speak. I opened my mouth to respond, but she kept talking.
And if you refuse, well, you can imagine, Aram.
My heart was pounding. I wasn't sure I recognized the person standing over me. The cold way she spoke. The malice in her tone. Is this really Brava? I mean, you did just piss her off like a few hours ago, bro. She's joking, right? That's it. It must be a joke. But, Brava, stop messing around, I started. She raised her hand to silence me. The words caught in my throat.
Are we clear?
She said, her voice like ice water. I tried to think of something, anything I could say. In this situation, the answer is yes. She has all the leverage, all the power. She can find the nearest peacekeeper and turn me over in a minute. Would she do that? Strangely. I thought then about the terminal ancestors, that feeling of being surrounded. Trapped. The knowledge that if I made a single mistake, I would die. Even with that terrible memory so fresh in my mind, I never felt more helpless than I did in front of Prava at that moment. As the girl I'd known for more than a decade held a secret over my head that could ruin my life. I nodded, terrified, and said nothing more. Oh, I didn't see the art. It looked like there might have been hands around her. It's definitely more than just rumors, like, Oh, I like that they have obligatory save points for some of the more important bits. It's a nice addition. They're holding hands, she thought. The girl sat crouched on the sidewalk outside her home. Head resting on her knees, she looked with fascination down the street. A young boy and his mother here, a daughter and her father just there. Hand in hand they walked, as if compelled not to let them go. They would walk along the street and then disappear from sight, all the while still holding their hands clasped tightly. What had those children done to earn it? To earn such a reward? Is this Prava's backstory? The girl shut her eyes and opened them again slowly. She shifted her weight, felt her stomach ache with hunger. She focused her thoughts on that discomfort as it passed over her. Oh, I think she mentioned before that she'd been hungry before. It hurts. I feel dizzy. All the while, child and parent passed her by, giving only the slightest of glances in her direction. How many meals had she tossed aside, the girl wondered. Last 5 or 6, maybe. That should be enough. Enough to make up for what? Standing slowly and dusting herself off, the girl looked up and behind the second-story window of her home. It's time. She'll want me back now.
Prava, dear. Are you listening? Write it down like I told you to.
The girl sat at a small desk, her mother kneeling behind her and watching over her shoulder intently. There was an open book in front of her, and the girl scratched away with a charcoal stick. The page was nearly full already with intricate sketches of bones and tissue. Notes about their function littering the margins. What had her mother said? This is definitely Prava, though. The girl wasn't sure, but she started writing on instinct anyway. When she had finished, her mother looked it over and nodded, smiling.
That's right, dear.
She put her hand on top of the girl's head and rubbed it gently. This part of her lessons the girls always looked forward to.
Oh, Prava. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud of how well you listen. Your sisters, don't you know? They only pretend to listen.
The girl nodded, knowing that was the right response.
It didn't take them far. Remember, Prava, they couldn't do it when the time came. Having 2 daughters break the obligation.
She felt her mother's hand tighten on her head.
But you...
Her word softens.
You're special. You're my light. Don't you know?
The girl shook her head. She knew it would keep her mother talking.
You're my favorite, Prava. You've always been my favorite.
The girl felt her hands tremble, wishing she could hear that again. She repeated her mother's words to herself. So we've definitely got psychological abuse and domineering. I don't know if it's an eating disorder or something else on the food angle, though. Over and over in her head as she continued her lesson. Perhaps it distracted her. Perhaps her pen slipped. But at some point she wasn't writing the correct words.
Prava?
That was all it took. Her mother's voice was different now.
Prava, what are you doing?
The tenderness had gone.
Look at this. I told you exactly what to write, you dense girl.
The girl's mother grasped her writing hand and pushed her hard against the table to stop her. It hurt.
Scratch it out and start again.
The girl cursed herself for having been so distracted by the praise. The lesson had been tainted. All the girl could hope was that if she made no further mistakes, the rain might clear and she would feel her mother's sunlight once more. I'll skip my next meal, too. Oh, it's personal penance. It's basically, it's a form of self-flagellation. Still fucked up, but... So the girl put her head down and kept writing. Those first years of general education, the girl thought often about the time spent living with her mother. When she felt alone, now amongst so many strange children, she thought of warm memories they shared. When she did well and everything aligned, those evenings after her lessons. If her mood was right, her mother might brush her hair. The girl tried her hardest to prove that she was capable. To prove that she could take her mother's obligation of medicine, like she wanted. But she had a growing fear that when that day came, she would be deemed unfit. When she thought about what her mother would say, her old habits came easily, pretending to eat her meals and throwing them away when backs were turned. With time, even the warm memories lost their color. "This afternoon, children," the lecturer said one day, "you'll be permitted to see your birth parents. They've been asked to come to the Lyceum, and you may spend time with them until sunset." So basically, general education is like boarding school, okay? So many children had been ecstatic, running off the way by the archway where they were to meet. They were eager, like children only were, to finally see their parents again after so long spent apart. As the sun dipped in the sky and bathed the courtyard in orange, the girl sat, hugging her knees, hiding. Somehow, in some way, she thought she might be relieved if her mother didn't come. So she hid, intending to wait until dark. But soon she heard voices and footsteps. She was afraid. Had they noticed she was missing? Had they come to take her? Instead, she saw two boys standing in front of her. Both seemed younger. Without reproach, they came to where the girl sat and said their names. The taller boy was Aram. The shorter, Canary. The girl had seldom been approached by the other children, so she didn't know what to do. She couldn't even say her name back. But nonetheless, the shorter of the two put out his hand to the girl. "Our parents are going to be late. Do you want to come play with us?" All at once she recalled the sight of parent and child walking hand in hand down the street that day. And it compelled her. It compelled her without really knowing why. So her fixation on it might be a little unhealthy, but I guess it makes sense. To take his hand. And he seems to appreciate her, so it could work out fine. Oh, at least decently. Sachida.
Are you listening to me?
Sachida's irritated voice snapped me back to attention. Oh, okay, we're with Sachita and Bravo, okay.
I was being so nice, teaching you how to do this, and you're... Look at this, I can't believe it. Are you sleeping right now?
Or maybe it is, I'm not sure which character we are. Oh, no, that's right. Prava has the ponytail, I think Aram has the bun. It was midday, and the two of us were sitting at a small table in one of the temple's many back rooms. My head had slowly been sinking to my arms over the span of an hour. Oh, it would also make sense that Aram would be falling asleep, having spent his nights in the well. And I realized that I had indeed nodded off for a moment. I'm sorry, I groaned, sitting upright again. The motion of it tugged at my stitches. Okay, confirmed. And I felt a flash of pain. I'm listening. Sachida seemed skeptical, narrowing her eyes. I was listening, I admitted, embarrassed. I'm exhausted. Sachida laughed.
Did you stay up late?
She asked, putting a finger on her chin as if deep in thought. I thought about my response. It's more like I've been pushing myself for weeks. And it's finally caught up to me. Sachida crossed her arms and indignantly. Not entirely untrue.
I'd say your behavior in the presence of a sunlight maiden is borderline heresy, she said.
She looked aside thoughtfully, tapping her fingers against her upper arm.
Yes, indeed. I think I read somewhere that it's a sin, too. Oh, yes, that sounds right.
I tried to laugh, but I coughed and my chest ached. Rubbed my eyes. I'm sorry. Start over, really. I want to learn this, I said. Are they practicing the conjuration stuff? I don't know if it was clear before how, like, she had the maiden, cloak thing. I've already forgot the name of it, sorry. Minash, that was it.
You know, Aram, as much as I enjoy giving you supplementary education and basic life skills, I have to admit I'm curious as to why you're only asking me now. I could have given you some archimancy tips any time, if you had just asked. It's all I do, you know?
You've seen how bad I am. Just recently I found myself in a situation where having those skills might have really made my life easier. This might be that middle section on the equipment page. Maybe we'll get a little wizard slizzard. I felt self-consciously at the tatters and imperfections of the menage I was wearing. Markings that constantly threatened to reveal it wasn't my own. My archimancy had been better that night. Well, so many things might have been avoided. It made me realize how far behind I've fallen.
Well, when's the last time you practiced?
Seriously practiced? I don't know, maybe a year?
God above. Well, don't worry too much. You can get pretty far with just knowing a few materials well enough. I'm sure I could whip you into shape enough for that. You asked about cloth, right?
I'm in your hands. We passed the remainder of the hour as a makeshift lecturer and student. Sachi tried her best at first to teach me the basic physical properties of cloth, but when numbers were involved, I found it rather difficult to absorb the information. Mood. At a certain point, she gave up explaining and resorted to a visual demonstration. That took me somewhat further, but quickly the limits of my muscle memory became apparent. By the time she gave up altogether, there was a small mountain of cloth by Sachita's knees. By my own feet was a pile of string, dust, one piece of textile that might have been cloth if you squinted. As always, Sachita found my pathetic attempts at archimancy endlessly amusing. It wasn't much, but it was progress. That's how any craft works, buddy. I looked at the sky and realized my shift at the kiln was quickly approaching. I remembered the other reason I'd come to see Sachita that day. Hey, Sachi? Prava, lately she's... Huh? Do you think... Would you say that she treats Kanari like a child?
Huh, I wouldn't say that. Well, she cares about him a lot. She's a little possessive of him, maybe. I've always thought it was mostly harmless.
I don't know.
Well, Aram, I do know a great way you could find out.
Yeah.
Seriously, why don't you just ask Kanari if it bothers him? But, oh, that's right. The two of you wouldn't dare broach such a personal topic.
We talk about plenty of things. Listen, it's just... It's not about him. I'm worried about Prava.
Oh?
Sometimes with him, she's just relentless. And lately, I think especially. I think she's perfectly fucking justified, but whatever. She's been taking it too far.
Well, she's still holding on to a lot, you know? She probably still feels guilty, even after all this time.
Oh, was she part of the accident, too? Do you really think so? All that was such a long time ago. How could she still be... You're closer with her than I am. Have you asked her? Would you?
Well, you had me there. I do try, but she'll never talk to me about Kanari. It's like off limits or something.
I see. Conversation slowly came to a close, and eventually I stood and gathered my things to leave. I began to wave goodbye, but I saw Sachita was still sitting. What do you have the plan for the rest of today? I asked, curious. Sachita gave an apathetic smile.
Well, today it seems it's fallen on me to clean the maidens' quarters. The whole thing.
I was surprised. Just you? That seems like a lot of work. How did that happen? Sachita looked off to the side and gave the faintest of laughs, her smile fading.
Sometimes the other girls hide the ledger from me so I can't sign up for any cleaning. I think it's quite funny when I'm stuck doing the work of a dozen people in one afternoon.
Sachita's tone was weary, almost defeated.
Everyone here's on edge lately, so I can't say I'm surprised that I'm on the receiving end.
I felt my anger stir. That's not fair. I'll stay and help, I said, moving as if to put my belongings down again. Sachita smiled.
No, you won't. You have work.
I grimaced. She wasn't wrong. I couldn't stay.
You're sweet, but it's just cleaning. I'll finish it eventually.
Sachita stood and walked up to me.
Thank you. Now get lost.
She put her arms around my chest.
Boys aren't allowed here.
We embraced for a short moment, before she let me go, turning with a wave over her shoulder. It hurt. I like that they don't clarify whether that's physically or emotionally, or both. Probably more physically, but having to see her suffer probably sucks too. I saw her out of the corner of my eye. Prava was at Kanari's side, as always. They stood close in line, speaking quietly. It seemed to be one-sided. Prava was speaking, and Kanari was nodding along. All the while, his expression was weary, his eyes downcast. Quickly, she noticed me and turned her head. For a moment, I thought about looking away. But the instinct to do so made me feel ashamed. It's Prava. She's my friend. Why am I afraid? I met her eyes. The look she gave me sent shivers across my body. It was the same cold look she'd given me that night. She wants to talk. I could only hold her gaze for so long. Soon I'd resume my march up and down the file. Are you even listening? Pay attention. Prava's voice was stern. I'm listening, I responded coldly. Midday meal had hardly ended when Prava pulled me aside. She'd taken me around to the back of the kiln to a somewhat secluded corner. Then you'll agree with me, she continued. I crossed my arms. So he wants to pull some sort of joke, I asked? What does it matter? Prava scowled. He wants revenge, Aram, she said, irritated. Revenge on that apprentice who hit him. He's told me all these elaborate plans to do something cruel. She shook her head. Obviously, this is a bad idea. I've already said, at the kiln, Kanari isn't well liked. Or that was the first line too, sorry. But after the other day, the older guys have been making comments, pushing him around. I've seen it. Prava sounded so certain in her words. But I know what she's like. She must be exaggerating. It can't be as bad as she says. I need you to dissuade him, Aram, she continued. Convince him that this is a bad idea. But listen if it's you. She hesitated. I've already tried. Are we really past the point of working this out? I wasn't in the right space to justify it that night. I can make her understand. Make her stop this. Prava, just listen for a minute, I said earnestly. The only reason any of this has happened is because of the famine, right? Prava narrowed her eyes. You said it yourself. People are hungry. They're on edge. Prava began to speak, trying to cut me off. Aram, she said, her voice building in intensity. I pushed ahead. That's the reason I'm doing what I'm doing, Prava. To stop this. All of this. When I find the better world, all of it will go away. No more rationing. No more fighting. No more... Prava took a step forward. Enough. Her voice was like ice water. Immediately, my mind went blank. That minash you're wearing, Aram, she said. I don't think anybody needs to know that it's not yours. Do you? I swallowed hard. Oh, God. Who is this person? This isn't Prava. It can't be. People contain multitudes, my dude. This person is extorting me. My hands are completely tied. I think she's overdoing it a bit, but you should probably at least take some of this into account. Slowly, I shook my head. Now run along, she said. Do it today. I'll know if you didn't. And it should go without saying. He's never to find out I sent you. And without another word, she left me behind the building. She definitely picked up some of her mother's traits from the trauma, but still. I found him in the storage room stocking shelves. My heart was pounding. How do I make this natural? Sachi was right. Kanari and I don't have these kinds of conversations. Will he know she sent me? I stepped through the doorway, pushing aside the curtain. Kanari turned and gave me a wave. Hey, Oh, Aram, good. I thought you'd already taken off. Get this. I'm working on something. Something funny. Oh, it's gonna be great. That prick. That asshole that punched me in the face. I figured I'd get a little payback, you know? Can't. There's one idea I'm kicking around. I'm thinking I'll Stay late one afternoon and, like, steal his things? You know, his apron, tools, whatever. Con, hold on. And I'll hide them around the kiln in, I don't know, all sorts of places. You know, real hard to reach spots. Canary. What? Don't worry, man. I've worked you in as well. You'll run lookout and help me think of the funniest place to hide things. This isn't that bad of a revenge plan, honestly. Just like old times, yeah? Like, it's kind of childish, but it's not, like, severely a pain in the ass. You shouldn't do it. Oh, what? Art, are you serious? It's just... I don't know. Maybe hold off. Now isn't such a good time, right? No. Now is a great time, actually. It couldn't be better. Imagine how funny it'll be watching him frantically search the place like an idiot, all red in the face. Yeah, I'm just saying, if you do something like that, won't it just make things worse between you two? And, you know, it could cause a big disruption. The other apprentices might be pissed at you. God's light, you sound just like Prava. It's not that big a deal. Sure, maybe we're 2 vases short for the day. Who cares? It's pottery. There's plenty of it. This isn't going well. What can I say? Khan looked out a nearby window. From the storage room, there was a clear view of the plantation, stretching towards the sea. The sun was beginning to dip, and still there were apprentice farmers working in the soil. Their silhouettes were dark against the horizon. You know, Aram. Canari's voice softened. It's good that you like your obligation. You get to run around doing, I don't know, God knows what. But you come home feeling like you did something that day. Like these hours you spent working actually contributed towards something. He chuckled. Not everyone's that lucky. Not me. With this shit leg of mine. Canary tapped his cane lightly against his heel. Stuck me here because it was all I was good for, you know? And that's fine. I don't blame him. They did to make the most use out of me. Made perfect logical sense. So the corners of his mouth twist into a smile. But then it was gone. So, no. I don't care if everyone here hates me. Finally, he turned to look at me. I'm a pain in the ass. Everyone feels that way already. It's a bad idea, Khan. You shouldn't do it. Please don't do it. Okay then. Whatever you say, boss. Look, it's not like that. No, it's whatever. I was just joking before or something. I need to get back to putting this stuff away, so... Yeah, right. Okay. I'll get out of your way. See you at home. See you. Prava was waiting for me outside the door to the kiln. We exchanged no words. But as I passed her by, I stopped. I turned and gave her a nod to explain that I'd done my part. Prava looked at me for a moment before nodding in return, quickly casting her gaze aside. I took that as my permission to leave. As I walked away, I heard the faint sound of a writing stick scratching furiously about paper. Prava writing in her notebook. I shuddered, wondering what it was she was writing, or what she would have me do next. Okay. Now we can do a little shopping. Actually, can we check anything in the shed before we go? Might as well check. I'll probably do one more expedition and then come back. So I'm getting hungry. That'll put us over 2 hours between doing stuff in town here and then heading out. Okay. I do appreciate that there's people in the field still trying, even if there's issues. Not now. I think it's I think it's where Prava works. Okay, raw clay. How many do we need all day here? I've got 2. Grab 4. Alright. Yeah, I went back instead of buying it. Okay. Okay. Then we can check in later to see if they have anything new, and that way we'll know. Okay. If that is archimancy we're learning, that's... We might not just not have learned enough to use any yet. Alright. Oh. So Canaria would be here to buy ceramic stuff, but okay. Maybe next day. Oh, he did say he would see us back at the house, but... He just has bricks. But I think we needed bricks for something. Got a fresh page of notebooks. Scratching in notebooks. This one's almost full. I need to buy a fresh one in probably a week or 2. Okay. Alright, he's not home. I will save, though. I don't think we're able to buy everything, but we can get a decent jump on things. You just have paper. Okay, so we cleared out the couriers. Alright, I did want to get... okay, they have 8 pure metals on hand. That's what I wanted. Well, I definitely want... Oh, we need a brick. Okay. Anything else we need a brick here for? 1 for the bone. Paper. 3. Okay, brick. 3 more. Clay. Raises all of our attributes. Hell yeah, okay. 3. Dye. 3 all day. Actually, let's just do what we gotta buy more of. So 1. Thread, we're good. Ink. Don't need any mark of honor. Okay. And then from there... It's just 3 ink, right? It's 1 more ink. Add another paper. Burn cream. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, raw clay, 2 more. Alright, I think if anything, I'll probably grab that ring, and that'll free up a little more, I don't know if we're gonna have the cash for it, though, after buying the constituent parts. But if we can get the ring, that'll free up, if it buffs everything, that'll give me a little more freedom with what we equip otherwise, is what I'm trying to say. Okay, Alright, thread. How many do we need? We have 3, so okay. But the 3 are for that ring, so 12? 12. Okay, we're definitely not going to be able to afford all of this in one go. Okay, let's just go back and... Actually, let's get the full list of what we need entirely. The loom was different, right? Yeah. Ink. Okay. Or dye. We need 1 plus 6 more. So 7 all day. We'll buy 1 now. Okay, ink is a different one. Alright, so... We have 4. We need 3 for the gubbin, so 5 more? Yeah. For those outfits. Are these all 200? I think so. Yeah, okay. Ideally, I wanted to get at least 1 more bone for upgrades, too. Alright, bandages. Okay. Also, I think it was 1,000 to get the next, whatever upgrade as well, so... The wound kit upgrade. Alright, so... 3, 6, 9... 6, 7, 8, 9. Alright, and we're going to buy 1 now. Put that towards the ring. Okay. Start from the right again, buying stuff. Yeah, again, as long as we get the basic 3 for everything. Oh. We need clay, so go to the kiln first. Anything else here? No, okay, kiln is separate. Got it. Okay, so kiln. Alright, we have no clay, so I need 5 all day, but we'll grab 3. Right. Alright, oh. Minus 3. Brick 3. And even if we end up not being able to afford the damn thing. Courier was paper, right? Yeah. We are kind of pushing it. Alright, paper. -3. Nope. Oh, we can't enter there. Okay, Depot's got the stuff. Let me double check what I still need. Oh, we might be good. Okay. Hell yeah. Okay. I think I can grab one more paper and buy that then, too. Or, let's get the bone, actually. Oh, I need dye and brick. Alright, we'll get that next time, then. But if I get one more paper, then we'll be done with paper. And that'll be one more thing I don't have to worry about. Yeah, here we go. Oh, there we go. Just played myself. Okay. I'm actually kind of surprised the pure metal's cheaper than some of the other stuff. Alright, oh, no. B? There we go. There we go, accessories. I want to keep Sachi this ring. Go for the boost all. What else you got here? That's fine. That's a nice health boost, though. Oh, this whole ensemble is getting me more cash. Okay. Good shit. So we're done with paper. Checking any, oh, we didn't buy the bone, that's right, okay. So next time we'll get the wound kit upgrade. I thought we were going to be wandering around a little longer at last pass to make a little more memory iron. So we're also going to find out how Tala fared with the busted Jim Jam. You're looking better. Have you fully recovered yet? I don't think you ever told me what it was. It was my stomach. And it's pretty much completely gone away. Completely gone away by now. Sorry to worry you. Save you're sick like that. Just tell us, okay? They put us all in danger. What if an ancestor had attacked when there were only 3 of us? Sorry. Just being careless. Here. Take it back. It's done. Tala shrugged my menage off his shoulders and held it up to me. I looked at it closely, noticing how carefully he'd stitched the tears. Unless you were staring at it like I was. Signs that it had once nearly been in pieces were almost invisible. I knew he'd been fixing it, but it was exceptional work. This is... I began, surprised. It's perfect. How did you... Tala shrugged. I was able to make a needle and thread that night, like you said. I know some sewing from my mom. I did some of it after you ran off. Enough to hold it together, at least. And I turned it inside out when I put it on so they wouldn't see the blood. I nodded, somewhat amazed at how willing Tala was to cover for me. I remember being scolded by High Wound Bearer Nihal the morning after my injury. I'd figured the other sentries would tell the armory about my unexplained absence eventually. And while Nihal reprimanded me for abandoning my post, he'd heard from the others that I'd been sick and let me off with a warning. I suspected it at the time, but now seeing my carefully sewn menage, it was clear the lie had been Tala's as well. Quickly, I took his menage off and offered it up. This was a lighter shade than my own, so to be extra careful, I'd been rubbing it in the dirt frequently in an attempt to hide it. As I passed it over, I muttered an apology that it was so filthy. Sorry. He shook his head. Something like this. It won't happen again, okay? I'm planning on getting better at archimancy. Really practicing. It'll be helpful on my mission. Fixing my clothes if they tear, or my sandals if they break. Your mission? That's what you're calling it now? The hell's that supposed to mean? Nothing, Aram. Tell me. Just how far along is this mission of yours? Now you want the details? You thought I was making everything up, remember? I never said I didn't believe you. I said I didn't understand it. You're saying all sorts of strange things. People who lived in the well, finding a way to end the famine. Yeah, that's right. More or less. So, did you? Find a way? I'm working on it. Working on it. What are you working on exactly? I'm gathering information. Okay. Let's hear it then. I'm really glad we grabbed that ring. Need like 20 extra hit points. His interrogation was beginning to irritate me. I've learned plenty, haven't I? No. I tried to get everything straight in my head. Well, I began by describing it. Towering buildings. Empty rooms. Thousands of doors and windows. Staircases that seem to stretch for miles. People lived there. Different than me, whatever that meant. They left behind their words. Many of them had died. They'd gone somewhere. It was a place without hunger. A better world. Yes, a better world. How did they get there? That was the question. An elevator? It carried people. Lots of them. Far away. Okay. Yes. It was a lead. It was something, at least. What else? Ancestors. I knew that Tala knew already. But I suppose I was finally coming clean about that piece of it. They were everywhere down there. All shapes and sizes. Some of them could speak. Some of them were friendly. Most of them weren't. Some of them were like guards. Some of them were like soldiers. My rambling slowly died out as I heard myself for the first time. What have I really learned so far? What have I done to deserve this? That's a lot. You're not making much sense. No, it does make sense. It does. I just don't see the full picture yet. You've been at this for weeks. Shut up. You think I'm not trying? That's all I think about, Tala. All day long. I unpack what I've seen and piece it together. Aram, you sound obsessed.
This can't be healthy.
Clearly, given the gashes across my chest, it has proven very unhealthy. I stood up. I've had enough of this, I said, turning to leave. If you're still not on my side, then you don't need to know the details. Tala called my name.
Hold on, he said. Let me ask you this. Whatever gave you that wound?
I glanced self-consciously at my chest.
Will it be there waiting for you tonight?
I was about to give a curt reply when I realized that my heart was pounding. Thought had been creeping up on me as we'd been speaking. I knew he was probably right. That terminal authority. It must be waiting for me. I don't know, I said, taking the first step down the staircase. But if it is, this time, I'm ready. This time, I'll kill it. Alright. I might go to some earlier areas to try and get enough money to buy out the scout. If it'll let me. I found myself in that place once again. Place I nearly lost everything. First thing I realized was that it was quiet. Dead silent, as it had been before. Sound of metal fingers scraping against stone, chasing me through the halls. It was gone. Okay. There's only 3 icons here, so... But there might be a ton of like rest points in the strata. I'm not sure what those icons. Okay, okay, that's the forge. I guess that's where the scout was. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I'm glad it's a fast travel. Why are you still here? Okay, so what do we need? No sub-items. Oh, we need wedding stones for upgrades, that's right. Okay, but, 1,025, 1,525 for all equip. Okay. Also, for some reason, it didn't auto-run the ad. Maybe I double-dipped on the last one. So, because I hit the button like a few seconds before it was going to auto-launch anyway, so... it didn't look like it ran double length, but we're going to run an ad anyway to turn the pre-rolls off, so... Alright, yeah, so we'll grind out the cash to buy all this stuff. Less so the wedding stones, although now that we know that he sells those, I can consider upgrades later. Then I'll probably get one more level, and then any cash I have left we're going to hang on to. Still like this side, so we're going to stick with it. Let me get the cursor out of here. Hello? Oh, wrong button. Jesus. At least we hadn't started any, damage on any of those guys to lose by getting knocked out of that. Free wedding stone. Hell yeah. Okay, wait, there's more. Okay. Alright, so a little over 600 more. Hello. Dingus. Oops. Okay. $15.25. All right. This is mostly a matter of just going back upstairs. Okay, we should have enough to buy everything. So we'll head back up. Head back to the scout. Buy all the goodies. Then we can warp back down to the trouble zone. Do enemy hits have a chance of missing. That's tempting. Okay, so he's got healing stuff if we need it, but we shouldn't need it. Right. There we go. Like, they've been dropping so much crap that I'm not nearly as worried about it now. Alright, rest. How much is the level up even going to cost? 1447, okay. So not the greatest of hurries. Save. Travel. Let's go get in trouble. This is it. There's no other way down from here. I'll have to pass back through. I tensed and gripped my weapon and shield tightly. How many ancestors will I have to destroy to get through? Watch him not even be here. Oh, he's broken. That's weird. Something's down here doing shit. Terminal authority. It was lifeless. Its body hung limp. As I came close, it made no movements whatsoever. And moreover, the door behind it was now open. What? What happened? There had been dozens of them that night, chasing me down. Where are they gone? Why is it dead? Nothing to do but now but press on. I remembered what it had said. There is a single elevator located several dozen strata below this one. That's all I have. So I'll go. That was fucked up. Oh. I was using the D-pad and not the, Okay, we have one burn cream. See where else this leads. On the same floor. The burn cream also implies that I can get burnt now, which is a little imposing, but I think we'll make it work. We would knock me back from the edge a little further, but I guess we'll get there. Oh, block. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so it looks like that back area connects over at some capacity. Perfect metal. Cool, cool. So this would have just bypassed the combat. Okay. We still haven't seen, unless we can sell the appendages to the scout, but we haven't really, encountered much in the way of use for them. Oh, was there a descent through this first one? I'm trying to be better at making a... Okay, there's a descent there. This one descends even deeper, it looks like. I'm trying to be better about making a mental map of all this. Okay, no. That's just big old Pitsky. Alright, so... we want to go descend here. Got left and right. Backtrack left first. This exchange should end it, but no promises. Okay. So there's probably a way down and left and back around. Alright, good to know. What do I need the burn cream for? We need 5 of them total for whatever, so... I don't think there were any other ways down from over here. At least not that went left. No. Or no, yeah, we want... this one. Go down. Head right. Hello, boys. Late. I kind of expected that, but at least we took out his buddy. Maybe I should be hitting a little earlier than I figure. At least you get the hits in. Okay. Broken data card, that's new. There's gotta be some merchant that wants those. Ancestor frame. Oh, okay. That was that door. Trauma redirection shield. Okay, maybe salvage for... Okay, yeah, we'll try selling to the scout before we head back up, hopefully. Deal stagger damage to the attacker if we, block level. Alright, 10% versus... We haven't been hitting the negative status effects as much, so... And it absorbs some, knockback, so... Take it for a ride. Okay, so we can get further down here. Trying to get rid of this guy on the left before his buddy here catches up. Okay, we fought this type before. Oh, I thought we had that. My bad. On the plus side, we haven't touched the wound kit at all. At least not here. Alright, door here. Fuck. I'm really whipping it now. If I swing, I gotta start swinging a little earlier. Then where's that other ladder? Or, oh, okay, that's just the one we passed. Good, good, good. Okay. Composite lead hand axe. So like pewter? Extra damage while at high health. I tend to be. I have been liking the disarm build up though. 3x15. Can't go any further down that way. there was another door on the other end of this, right? Yeah, right there. Okay. Yeah, the reduced knockback's helping a lot. Shit. You fucker. Fuck! God damn it, dude. Fuck this guy. Please fucking die. Alright. Some of those broken data cards are worth a lot, because fuck these guys. Okay, oh. Kinetic blood stimulant? What does that do? Seems like an accessory. Stagger attacks, restore health, okay. I think that only means when I deliver them, though. held shut by a mechanism. You done? The last one was almost a really bad swing. Just hit it on a diagonal, which I don't think counts. This might lead to up to some of those other items we saw earlier. Segmented longsword, that sounds cool. Work 6 plus 16. Increases exponentially for each perfect hit in a row. I'm not that good at perfect hits though. I don't feel like I am. Oh, we found another one. Familiar form came into sight. It's now the terminal authority, and just like the first, it seemed lifeless, dead. Were they all like this? Was I just lucky finding one that was still alive? Strange. Is there anything else this way before we move on? Because that's clearly where the game wants me to go. Lightweight silicon structure, what's that? The key decreases encumbrance, okay. So that seems to imply there's a way down and around to those guys. Maybe this goes even deeper and I just didn't see. Still that one brown door. Okay, I hope. Okay, the brown one's at the bottom. Head to the left. up one from here? Not a usable door, okay. I don't think we came from that way, so let's check this. Yep. Good thinking. More perfect metal. Okay, door beyond this had some dudes. Does give me more room to operate though, so I'll take it. Get some. Alright, I'm gonna hold off on that guy. If we can. Okay, I gotta change the item in combat to use a different one. Oh. This connects over here. Which I think there was a broken pathway and something to grab in here. What's the deal with that? Yeah, oh, and a chest, good. Super conduit arc lance, that sounds cool. X16 plus 17. Tempting. Plate steel lance fielding a deadly electrical current. Okay. Get some. Alright. Data card. burn cream. How many burn creams we got here? Three? Three, okay. It's fun over here. I guess this might take us to the switch. In the center of the cramped room, there looked to be a table. On top of it was a rectangular metal box about the size of my palm. It was inset with a sort of glass computer. I picked it up to get a closer look. As I lifted it, there was a small thud, and I noticed something had fallen out of it. Lying on the table was a peculiar small metal card. It was flat, hard, and had a greenish hue. It was as if it was supposed to slot perfectly into an opening at the top of the device. Out of curiosity, I picked the small card up and pressed it carefully back inside. There was a soft click, and suddenly, glowing green characters appeared on the glass. I nearly dropped it in surprise. More writing. There were several sentences that seemed to be cut off by the bottom of the screen. Curious, I put my finger against the glass, and the text moved up. I can move it around. What is this? A book? I began to read. Esha. I was finally permitted by the Chancellor to walk the bridge to the adjacent stratum. The Terminal Authority was reluctant to let me enter, even though after I presented my gene card. That's the way things are right now, I suppose. Their dosage center was nearly as depleted as our own, but I managed to trade for a small supply of insulin for you. You'll be okay. Come find me as soon as you can. I love you. I reached the end of the writing, and with a soft click, the card ejected itself from the device, leaving the glass dark once again. It was like a letter. So many unfamiliar words. But it seems to further support my suspicion. The people here, they were cruel to each other. Very cruel. They used ancestors to keep themselves apart. Why? Looking at the shelves lining the walls, I realized how many more metal cards there were. Eager to learn more, I stepped quickly to the nearest shelf, then grabbed another. It quickly fell apart in my hands. Scanning the shelves, I realized that the majority of the cards were in very poor condition. Damn it. There must be more of them. In better shape. I'll take this reading device with me. Okay. Like, if I burn my last, I think I saw anything. Oh, good instincts. Oh, petrified bone. Cool. That's another health kit upgrade. Yeah, if I burn my last wound kit charge, I'll go save, but this crew isn't too bad looking. Aside from this guy with the big swings. I still don't know why the weapon switch doesn't work, but whatever. Come on, man. Right fucking there. Fuck these guys. Alright, later dipshits. It's 4 burn creams, I think. Yep, okay. That's open. Well, we still haven't found the switch for the other one. It's a different bypass. So if I don't sell them with him, then who do I salvage them with? Alright. Yeah, said we do it till 30. Because I want to save the cash for other stuff we can do. Where does the bypass take me? Oh, okay, this was the bottom floor brown door. We just had to get it from the other side. Okay, okay. So then we want to take the bypass. Cool. I guess we sell them at the depot or something. I feel like they'd be kind of suspect if I was selling them ancestor bits, but... Unless I'm supposed to salvage them at the anvil? Let me try that before we go any further. Now that we know there's not dudes in this, at least in the couple screens in between here. An upgrade at least. We can buy perfect metal in town, so might as well match those strength-wise. Make sure it's completely loaded in. Okay. Now let's go. And we could also level up back in town, too, so... If that is where we sell those, then I can just... create a bunch of shit. This is one of the guys we saw earlier, I think. I'll have to get a better look at the map once we get done whacking him. Increasing killing power was a good call, though. Always is. Sharp iron weight. Broken data card. Okay. Okay, yeah, we have been here. Cool, cool, cool. Might actually make it to another break before we're done here. Okay, that's 5 burn cream, so whatever was in town we needed burn cream for, I should have all the ones I need. Let's go up first. Okay, that's just the broken into this guy, but... Or did we go down? Okay, we went down. Feeling we're going down a lot. Plot? No. Dude. A little spicy. Oh. I'm glad we got a rest in before this, because that means my wound kit should be recharged. Oh, wrong button. I thought for sure he was going to knock my ass out of there. Since we hadn't done anything really to him yet, that would have been fine. Come on. Stamina back up. Okay, much better. Bonus burn cream. Organized discharge shield, excuse me? Electrocution build up? Okay, so... Thing is, I like having the lack of knockback a little more, so we're probably going to hang on to that. We're going to hang on to everything, but we're probably going to keep using that, I mean. Oh, this is the dispensary. As mentioned in that card mail or whatever. This room seemed different than the rest. It was divided into small sections by high tables, each littered with an assortment of items. Some of them were familiar. Small cubes, pyramids, and spheres. Small objects children in the settlement would make to practice their archimancy. But many of them were significantly more intricate. Shapes that seem to twist into themselves. Shapes with hundreds of faces. Great, we found a gaming shop. Many of them were shiny or reflective. Metal, perhaps. I was unsure what kind. There were tools as well. On the table, there was a metal card. I picked it up and carefully inserted it into the reading device. There was a soft click, and the glass lit up with glowing characters. I began to read. Observations on the age of objects made by means of occlumency. I have now concrete evidence that the relative age of two objects made using occlumency gives them special physical interactions. I have for many months been running trials using the various metals I am capable of creating, though admittedly my access to the schemata for more sophisticated elements are limited by my stratum. By law, I am not allowed to speak to my contemporaries in the levels above myself. However, I have made do nonetheless. Over a year ago now I first noticed it. I dropped a small copper scalpel on the ground, and saw that it left a sizable indent in the floor. I thought it immediately strange that such a light implement had caused so much damage to solid concrete, and so began my investigations. Indeed, all of the tools in my laboratory were capable of causing severe damage to the concrete of the building with minimal physical effort on my part. The material of the walls isn't particularly brittle. Hitting it against itself has little effect. That was when it occurred to me. All the tools in my laboratory had been made by myself using occlumency within the past 5 years. It stands to reason that the strata themselves were once made with occlumency too, but quite some time ago. I'm told by my daughter that our stratum, being one of the newest, is still at least 700 years old. What the fuck? The implications of this should now be clear. The older an object made with occlumency is, the more fragile it is to occlumency made recently. I take it to the extreme. Proper utilization of this phenomenon can get incredible results. Are we going to start crafting our own weapons? Once our occlumency gets better? Today I created a hammer of tempered iron, and within seconds of its construction I struck a slab of concrete with all my might. The concrete, which I know to be at least 700 years old, was perhaps 4 cubic feet in volume, and it crumbled like gravel. I tried to process what I'd just read. The people that lived here, they knew so much about occlumency, so much more than we do. Does Sachida know this? If it's true, it might give me an incredible advantage. Yeah, either we get better at crafting, or we get Sachida to craft us even better goodies. I walked home through the darkened streets with the other sentries, thinking it over. Ancestors. Are they also made from occlumency? I thought about what I'd read. At the time the messages had been written, there were ancestors still. That means, if they were indeed made by means of occlumency, it was at least a very long time ago. Stands to reason, if I improved enough that I could create simple weapons from occlumency, and use them against ancestors in the heat of battle, it could make short work of them. Yes. Yes, this might work. I quickened my pace, eager to get home. I'll need to start practicing. Seriously practicing. Every night. In my spare time. When I have a break on duty. Whatever it takes. However many hours. Bro, you need to sleep. Suddenly, I stopped and let them walk ahead. Paulo turned back to look at me for a moment. But then he kept walking. Thought about what he'd said. Obsessed. I'm not obsessed. That sounds like something someone who's obsessed would say. This isn't an obsession, it's all I can do. It's my real obligation. I'm not obsessed. I'm not. Alright. I think what we're going to do is start a new day. Also, we're due for an ad. Again, I think I double dipped at some point. So we'll run it now just to make sure the pre-rolls are gone. And then we'll come back to it. I literally forgot if I even ran the ad. I didn't. Okay, well, let's just keep going. Again, I said after the story, we're just going to do some shopping. So if pre-rolls are on for this last bit, I apologize. I needed to get up either way. Oh, yeah, let's click back in here. Okay, came back to a quiet home. For once. Kanari and I didn't speak at all as we headed to our sleeping rooms. There was no banter. No laughs. Made me uneasy. I didn't sleep that night. Stayed up into the small hours, practicing occlumency under my covers to block the light it produced. Recalling our very first lessons in general education. Over and over again I made small blocks of wood and stone. Spheres and pyramids of clay and packed dirt. Trying desperately to make up for years of lost practice. From that day, the strange boy had taken her hand. Oh, another memory. The girl's life began to change, so this is more Prava. At first, they were nothing more than small gestures. Waves in her direction as they passed by. Calling her by name. On occasion, inviting her to play as they had. How long would it last, she wondered. At some point, it had to end. Soon, the days became weeks. And the weeks became months. Before she knew it, the girl was waiting for them after her lectures, sharing her meals with them, speaking to them unprompted. How had it happened? She'd done nothing for them. Nothing at all. Fucking hate her mom now. Often the girl found herself sitting by an open window to the courtyard. Or a window open to the courtyard. Most days they were there. Two boys would spar in the shadow of the bell tower, along with the others aiming to one day take wound-bearing as their obligation. She would watch them as she sat in her lectures, learning to stitch wounds and set bones. The girl wondered why it was they chose to spend so much time with her. With her when there were so many other children. Is this what it's like to have sisters? The girl could count on one hand the number of conversations she had with her own. Now that they were apprentices and journeymen, they never came home. They never came to see her. Aram, the taller of the two, was quiet and kind. The girl had forgotten her things. Without thinking, he would volunteer to retrieve them. Like no other, Aram was passionate. He trained harder than any other boy she'd ever seen. Though, between the two, it was to the shorter boy the girl found herself drawn. In every room he was in, regardless of who might be there already. Kanari made himself known. He carried himself like dry grass lifted on the wind, dancing softly through the air, blowing over the island out into the sea. Nothing could hold him down or force him to sit still. Flesher would speak, and Kanari would whisper a joke under his breath. There was pranks, too. Children would find their sandals missing, only to see Kanari flash a mischievous grin from across the courtyard. While so many worked so earnestly towards their obligations, hoping desperately to impress the adults that observed them, Kanari simply let all the little things blow over him with the wind, smiling all the while. At first, she was astonished by the boy's behavior. The sarcastic way he answered adults, his casual demeanor in every situation. But towards the girl? Come on, Prav. Let's get to the highest branch. Kanari put out his hand for the girl to take. The sun was low in the horizon, and in the golden light, the pale tree was lit like a great flame. The girl shuffled anxiously in the yellow grass, looking up at the boy hanging off the trunk.
We're not supposed to climb it,
she said. But Kanari just laughed. Any other person would think twice, doing the things he did. But Kanari was Kanari, and nobody else. So he just laughed. They were not supposed to climb it. They should have built a wall around it, he said, keeping his hand outstretched. The girl looked around nervously.
What if I fall?
Kanari smiled. I'll catch you. And if I don't, he looked at the sky thoughtfully. I'll jump off after you, so we'll both get hurt. That seems fair, doesn't it? Yes. Around her, it was different. It was the way he laughed it all off. The many things the girl was taught to care so much about. To Kanari, some days, nothing in the world mattered even half as much as watching the sunset from the top of a tree. It was that. That was what compelled her to take his hand every time he offered it. Was it that time she spent with the two boys? The time she took away from her studies. The girl knew it wasn't free. Going hungry. So quickly it wasn't enough anymore. There was a dull thud, and she dropped the piece of ash brick on the ground beside her. The stinging pain had left her lightheaded. The girl grit her teeth, taking shallow, labored breaths. One more. She eyed her... Oh, no. Now she... Fuck, man. She eyed her up her arm, looking for open space. From top to bottom, ending just at the point where her sleeve stopped covering her skin. Okay. It's not cutting, that's still not great. Her arm was covered with bruises and welts. It's still self-harm. Some were old, black, and scabbing. Others, like the one she'd just given herself, were red and bleeding. There's no more room. Girl carefully rolled down her sleeve and began eyeing her thigh when she heard footsteps. She saw a careful pull at the curtain to the storage room's door, a face peering in. She froze. Prava? Kanari's voice came softly. Are you in here? He pulled the curtain open and stepped inside, seeing her sitting against the far wall. Immediately, the girl felt shame overwhelm her. She tried in vain to cover the stones and shards of brick by her side with her menage. And all the while, Kanari looked at her curiously. Had he seen? He looked at her for a long moment, and then took a step forward, reaching for something at his side. Taking a knee, he produced a bound notebook and writing stick. Handing, that's where she got it. Oh shit. Here, for you. She looked at the notebook, unsure what to make of it. Did you take this without asking, she asked? Kanari grinned. Well, I borrowed it. The girl held it in her hands, flipping through the blank pages. Her notes, she asked? Kanari shook his head. No, Prov. It's for you. You don't usually say much. So, I was thinking, like, you want to say something, and you don't want to say it out loud, or whatever, you can write it down. Then show it to me later. The girl looked up at him then, met his eyes, and wondered for the 1000th time what she'd done to deserve his attention. But only if you want to. Okay? She probably hasn't been sharing the notes about strong-arming Aram, but... I'd been staring at the ceiling for over an hour before I decided I would go to work. It was getting longer and longer each day. Time I spent deciding if it was genuinely worth it. God above. This used to be so hard? No. I don't think it did. I remember having a reason at some point. Something that motivated me. To get up in the morning, to go to work. I don't remember what it was. Oh, is this... Oh, we're in Kanari's view. I saw Aram through my doorway, sitting by the staircase and tying his sandals. When he noticed that I'd sat up, he looked at me and gave me a weak grin. I waved, trying to smile in return. Aram's weapon and shield were lying by the ground to his left. As soon as he'd finished putting on his sandals, he took his equipment and hurried down the stairs. Just like that, he was gone. It was a sight to behold, really. Unless I was slowing him down, Aram was never late getting to his post. Every morning, he woke at the same time and followed the same routine. Dressed, polished his weapon, and was out the door in under 15 minutes. I don't get it. Where does he get all that energy? Where does he get that drive? He must remember his reason. Whatever it is that compels Aram to get out the door every day. Must be Sachito, right? Wasn't that supposed to be me? I was supposed to carry that sword and shield. I looked down at myself. Paper strewn about my floor. The cane left lying haphazardly off to my side. And the worthless broken body still lying in bed. Unable to will itself just to stand and get dressed. No. Of course not. That was never supposed to be me. Aram was made to hold that sword. I was made just to watch. I also still haven't fully outlined the incident. Prava held my arm firmly as we walked towards the kiln. I watched smoke billow from the chimney of the brickworks as we passed it by, drifting high into the morning air and disappearing from sight. I wasn't paying attention and my cane caught on an upturned brick. I stumbled, losing my balance. But immediately, I felt Prava's grip tighten on my arm, preventing me from falling face first into the street. Sorry, I muttered, embarrassed. Prava shook her head gently. You should lean on me more. It'll help. How sad is that? Walking with her is actually easier than walking with my cane. Leading my head on a line, I looked towards the front. I'd gone ahead of Prava to get my ration today. She told me she had something to do first. I watched as the car worker poured just over a fifth of one ladle into a bowl. The rations are still shrinking. Oh, great. The apprentice at the front of the queue walked off, looking down at his food with a blank, tired expression. Another reduction this week, it seemed. What difference will it make? I'm still hungry from the fourth of a portion I got yesterday. Suddenly, there was a forceful push at my back and I stumbled forward, almost losing my balance. I turned my head rapidly and saw a group of 3 journeymen in line behind me. They laughed under their breath, turning away coyly as if they hadn't just shoved me. More of this? It had been happening frequently. Whenever Prava wasn't with me. It took any opportunity to push me around. That's for the best, though. Thank God she isn't around to see it. So he's hung up on pride as part of it. Okay. I turned away, choosing to ignore them today. What can I do, anyway? Hide behind Aram? Get him to fight my battles for me? No way. But Prava wasn't around. Made it so obvious. So easy to see. I don't have a single friend here. I haven't made a single one. Not one in 7 years. That's fucked, isn't it? Or, no. It's kind of funny, actually. All I've ever done is be a complete ass. There hasn't been a single day where I've ever taken my work at the kiln seriously. Not like the others. It's no wonder they're finally fed up with me. I deserve it. It's who I am. And a self-persecution complex. Great. I dipped my brush into a small bowl of ink on the table, lifting it to the surface of the vase. Made a long stroke along the side, linking it up with the line Prava had just finished. She sat on her knees to my right, quietly painting. Whatever I was assigned to do. Unless she was explicitly told otherwise, she volunteered to do it with me. Everything. She followed me around everywhere I went. To and from work. And then all day long. She does things for me. All the time. Without asking. She brings me things, so I don't have to walk and get them. She carries anything that's too heavy. She gives me a hand every time I try to stand up. I looked over at her, kneeling next to me. She noticed me turn my head and gave me a sidelong glance. She smiled. I've let this go on too long. Way, way too long. Letting her do these things for me. She really... Are we really that close? I see her every single day. More than Aram. How did it get like this? How did that happen? What does she see in me? What does she see that keeps her glued to my side? I have no redeeming qualities at all. Not like Aram, not like Sachida. None. There was a soft rattling sound, and I realized I dropped my brush to the ground. Before I had the chance to look and see where it had fallen, Prava was already reaching for it. She handed it to me without a word, and I took it. Nope, slipped out of the voice. Yes, needs to stop, because this feeling I get when she's around, it's suffocating me. Oh no. Kid's gotta set your shit straight, I swear to God.
So, Sachi convinced me to go back and look under my desk. And, of course, that's where it was.
Oh.
Should have been the first place I looked. You know?
Also, new portraits for the both of them. Glad you found it.
Mm-hmm. Are you feeling okay today, Khan?
Yeah, I am. Why?
You've been so quiet lately. Is it the hunger pains? I get them all the time.
What? No, it's nothing like that, Prava. It's the end of the day. I'm just eager to finish packing up so we can go home.
Is it the journeymen? Are they being cruel to you again?
Prava, I already...
Just say who it is. Point them out and I'll talk to them.
Prava.
I won't let it keep happening, okay?
I dropped the box I was lifting onto the shelf loudly, spinning to face Prava. God above. How many times do I have to keep repeating myself to this damn girl? She just won't let it up. I think he thinks it's more out of pity than out of genuine affection, and that's the problem here. Felt my frustration boil over. My God, Prava, I snapped. I don't need your help with anything like that. It's not a problem. So stop asking about it. Immediately, I knew I shouldn't have raised my voice. Prava fell silent, casting her eyes aside in embarrassment. She shuffled her feet, clasping her hands at her waist. We passed a moment in tense silence.
Right, she said finally, her voice thin and quiet. Oops. Okay, then. If you ever need me, just say my name and I'll come for you wherever you are.
A moment later, Prava reached behind her and produced a small notebook. She opened it delicately, taking up the charcoal stick pressed between the pages and began writing. I watched her scribble away as she so often did, feeling like there was a weight in my stomach. I must have given that to her more than 10 years ago. Then she still... I started to speak without thinking. God. You're really still using that old thing? Just toss it already. There are plenty of notebooks around. Immediately, she stopped writing. First, Prava looked up at me, eyes wide, and then down to the notebook in her hands. She seemed to study it intensely for a few seconds, ultimately tucking the notebook back into her menage.
I'll be right back, Khan, she said quietly. I forgot that I left something in the other room.
With that, she walked briskly past me and through the door. The sound of her footsteps echoed through the nearly empty building. I realized she hadn't actually gone anywhere at all. She was standing on the other side of the doorway, just out of my sight. There was a faint whimper, and then, barely perceptible above the ocean winds, there was quiet sobbing. You done fucked up, buddy. It was faint, like everything possible was being done to cover it up. That's her. It was over in under a minute. And just as quickly as she'd left, Prava came back in, stopping just short of me. I stared, biting my tongue to keep myself from saying even a word. Anything at all. She wiped her eyes and extended her hand, smiling.
Should we go home?
I can't wait till we get slapped with whatever Sachita's issues are. Just stack it all. Well, come on, just destroy me.
It's not enough.
Prava's angry voice cut the quiet evening air.
You're not doing enough.
I looked at Prava nervously. I think we're back to Aram, noticing the dark circles under her reddened eyes. So this is right afterwards. Her hair was unkempt. Has she slept? I spoke up. I've done everything you've asked of me. If you just tell me what it is that's... Prava stepped forward, grabbing the collar of my shirt.
What exactly have you been saying to him? She spat. He's gotten worse.
Suddenly letting go, Prava stumbled back, putting her head in my hands. Or in her hands.
Oh, God above, she moaned. I can feel it, Aram. He's pulling away from me.
I came forward slowly, trying to put a hand on her shoulder. Prava, I began.
He needs space. Just
back off for a while. Prava shoved me away, slapping my hand aside.
He's your friend, she hissed. Your best friend. And you couldn't care less.
I didn't respond.
You're so busy with that precious well of yours, running about in that dark, empty nothingness. Paying no mind at all while your friends at home are starving and suffering.
Her words transformed my uneasiness to fear. Prava. I'm gonna ask again. How do you know so much about the well? Prava was quiet for a moment, seeming to cut her tirade short. She put her head in her hands once more.
Oh. I know what this is. It's you.
Her voice was almost shaking.
You're the one pulling him away from me. You're feeding him all sorts of ideas. Turning him against me.
Her head shot up and she stared at me. Her eyes were like I'd never seen them before. I put up my hands disarmingly, afraid of what she might do. She's... Prava, please, I said. You're acting... I swallowed my words and reconsidered. It's not like that. I promise you it's not. Prava didn't speak for a long while.
Go home, she said finally. Go home, Aram. Convince him. Convince Kanari to tell me how he's really feeling. He won't talk to me. I need to know.
You could throw her a bone, please, dude. Alright, do we need any more clay? 2 more. Okay. Well, I should see if Canari's in here with the shards or not. Nope. Or was he in the back room? Not now. I want to buy more stuff from him. Alright, bricks. We needed... how many? More? One more. That's right, yeah, auto runs. Okay. Now let me save after all that, too. How am I not going to talk? Sure, I think when we're going to get a chance to talk to him. Alright, paper. We're done with paper. That was what's at the courier outpost. I don't remember what was in this building before. I think it was like a side quest that we already did. Can't go in there. Okay, depot. Are you where we sell shit? Because... oh. We might as well grab that. 2 raw clay, 5 burn cream, okay. Alright, so that's all the accessories from this guy. Alright, thread, all day we needed 12. That's going to cost a lot, but... dye all day we needed 7. That's also going to cost a lot. I want to get the wound kit upgraded first. But yeah, okay, so we're good for... wait, I don't need the burn cream anymore. It's not for barter. Red we just loaded up on. That was the most expensive. Yeah, that was the biggest pile we needed to. Clay we should be good for. Brick we should be good for. You just have consumables. How do I sell this shit? On these all day we needed... 10 more. Don't quite have enough for. Greatly increases memory iron? Okay, well, we'll probably do the golden earrings then. So we get to hang on to that. Oh, we salvage it just in the menu. Well, that's easy. Had I known that, I would have done that a ways back. Okay. Hell yeah. Alright, well then we're going shopping. Alright, so what do we need for these all day? 10, I think? Maybe just 9. Oh, we got one in extra in inventory just in case. Kind of wish I'd remember if it was stuff you'd seen before. And not give you the exclamation point every time you reacquire one, but okay. Okay, that's the way to work. So we're done shopping at the armory. Alright, how many ink did we need? 5, so... Well, I guess 6. Yeah, okay. 6 for both of those. Okay. So, salvage some more. So we're done with you. Six die. What? Oh, I hadn't added the 1, so I didn't purchase. Got it. Okay. Alright, carpet maker's done. Clothier's done. Alright, I want to go back to the depot, buy a fractured bone, get another upgrade. Let's see if we can't go any further with it. This is the courier. Okay, we're done with courier. Okay, we're done with courier, we're done with kiln, we're done with the bricklayer, or the brick makers. Did I already walk by the depot? I'm sorry, I'm forgetting where everything is all of a sudden. Yeah, that's bricks and kiln. We must have walked by it. I apologize. And if anything, I think we'll save like right at the top of the next expedition. I want to go further, but I got other stuff to do today, so... And I'm starving. Yeah, okay, depot is the cross tools. He's only got one bone left, so... And only one shard, alright. Oh, we need a die, ink, and a brick. Okay. That's what I needed the extra ones of those for. Alright, so... Grab one dye and one ink, so that's, Also, we might as well salvage and buy the rest of that perfect metal. Alright, so now we got lots of upgrade juice. Yeah, so... One dye, one ink. Ink was the library, right? I think so. The historian, whatever. Dye was the carpet crew, yeah, okay. And then I think shopping's done, unless more items get added in the next update. Next chapter. Or we find another scout or something selling stuff downstairs, but that's cool. But we can spend most of our memory iron on upgrading from here on out. Alright, stop talking. Start selling. Just gotta remember where the hospice is and we're good. A productive session. Alright, well, we'll do, if we get more petrified bone, we can upgrade it further, but... Pretty solid spread, honestly. Also, now that we have all that, let's see if I can't upgrade these any further. Pretty trusty combo so far. Alright. Feeling good. If we can find some combat near a save point, I do want to try seeing if using the mace is still broken or not. If it crashes if I break the armor or not. Okay, this is the same discussion as before. Fully recovered. Yep, if you're next time you're sick like that. Watch. I held my palm, concentrating. The air shivered, and a dim indigo light hovered above my hand. After about a minute, there was a soft sound as a small stone knife fell into my hand. Paulo looked closely. A knife? He asked. I nodded. I'm down to about a minute for permanence, but I could make a temporary one in a few seconds if I needed to. I've been practicing. A lot. Tala seemed impressed. Just this week? He asked. I nodded again. I don't know how many materials yet, but Tala leaned in, studying the knife. It's not bad. Are you really doing all this because of that message you found? How do you know? How do you know it's true? I decided a demonstration would be easiest. Gripping the knife tightly, I turned and slashed the nearby wall. As soon as the blade made contact, there was a soft cracking noise, and a cloud of dust kicked up from where I made contact. As it dissipated, it revealed a deep cut in the stone of the wall several inches deep. The stone had been pulverized. Tala's eyes widened. This knife is already about 30 seconds old, so it's lost some of its power, I said, inspecting my work. Getting something as old as these walls, though, it does a lot of damage. Or, that's still me talking. The effectiveness seems to taper out pretty rapidly, so if I can land a hit within just a few seconds, it should be devastating. This is going to be the equivalent of having spells, I guess. Tala nodded thoughtfully. Have you tried against them yet? He asked. Ancestors, I mean. Shook my head. That's what tonight is for. Test my theory. Alright, and we're going to leave it there. So I guess we're going to test that theory next week, hopefully on Friday.